Alright, we should be live, and we are just waiting for things to kick off. I thought I'd spend a couple of minutes just looking at some fleet stuff while we waited for our competitors to get online and get their game sorted. We're looking to kick off in about 5 minutes if everything goes according to plan, though I know they haven't picked their map yet. So we will be waiting a little bit longer probably. Also, hello people who are in the chat already, that's cool to see. Only got one person at the moment, but that's still cool. One of the things I wanted to quickly touch on was my inability to, oh, it's a monkey, to determine the difference between an Axford and a Solomon. So in that last game, the winning team had 2 railgun heavy cruisers, but I was calling them Solomons, which was unfortunate. They did not have battleships, they had heavy cruisers, so I will be a bit better at identifying the difference between those. Big thing to watch out for is the 4 engines at the top front of the battleship compared to the 3 engines at the front of the Axford. They are quite similar in silhouette, especially when you look at the icons. I find it quite hard to tell the difference between them. So yeah, that's something to watch out for. Other things we need to watch out for are telling the difference between spotlights and jammers, because we can't actually see the enemy's E-War. We have to just interpret it, so just gotta watch out for those. Signature boosters and interrupters. The guy actually had an interruption jammer on his ship, not a Masquerade signature booster. I was really excited to see a signature booster, but sadly he didn't have one. And I've just found out the game is not going ahead. Well, that is really disappointing. That's such a shame. They were literally about to go live, and they've decided not to go live. And that's going to be at midnight tomorrow for me, which is unfortunate. Well, I was going to live stream this game, but now there is no game to live stream. What am I going to do? It feels a bit sad to announce a stream and then not go ahead with anything. But I don't have a fleet to play, so I can't just jump into a game myself. Yeah, it's a bit of a bummer. Maybe what I'll do is I'll spend like 10 minutes putting together my own 6k fleet, just to look at what else maybe we're going to play. I don't know if people will be interested in that, or should we just leave it there and jump onto the stream next time when we actually get a game, because they have just cancelled the game. That's very unfortunate. 5 minutes before it's about to launch. But I understand work stuff came up, and you know it's quite a hard tournament to organize over all these different time zones, so no worries at all. Just let them know, it's all good. It's just a little bit unfortunate. I apologize for putting out a ping to let everyone know the stream was going to kick off, and then for the game to get cancelled right as we're about to play. I was really hyped. I was really looking forward to it, because I'm struggling to catch these games. They're at really, really late times for me. The ones that were played today were like 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. and I get up at 5 a.m. for work. So I was hoping to catch this one. Yeah, I was going to record High Fleet tomorrow. I always do it on a Thursday. I've got time set aside for it. I'm a little bit deflated, I won't gonna lie. I was recording my Phantom Brigade, and I'll probably finish that recording instead of doing this, but I just feel bad for all the people who saw my ping and wanted to jump on. I mean, 4 people is cool for me to see that people were here at the start of the stream. That's really cool, and I don't want to like just disaward you for not doing anything. You can see me, I'm mumbling now, I don't know what to talk about. Let's just have a look. Something I wanted to have a look at was they have just buffed the 450mm cannons in this game. So just really quickly, I wonder if we can make a cheap heavy cruiser that uses 450s as its primary weapons, just to see how that goes. Let me just change the title of the stream though, just so that people don't... Can I change the title? Yeah, I can change the title of the stream from here. Alright, I'm just updating the stream title, just so that people don't jump in looking for a game and then finding that it isn't here. Totally understand if people don't want to hang around, the game got cancelled, but I'm going to do some shipbuilding, just to see what I'm thinking. So what I'd like to look at here is we've got one 8x7x8 on the heavy cruiser, and they just buffed the Mark 868 cannons. The Mark 66 and the Mark 68 had an ammo buff, so they've got higher velocity and longer range. And I want to see if we can make a reasonably priced 450mm primary weapon ship. yeah, T-Rem. Hello, Seavolt, Zed, and hi, Rear. I didn't say hi to you. They have, unfortunately, postponed the match until tomorrow. 5 minutes before it's due to start. But I feel like it would be a waste to just cancel the stream. So I'm going to do some shipbuilding just for a little bit. You're welcome to hang around, but I totally understand if you don't want to, because it's not what you signed up for. Honestly, I was super pumped, but I get it. Like, they've got work stuff that's come up, and that's fair enough. It's hard to arrange a tournament like this across the world. But as I was saying, the Mark 68s and the Mark 66 have had a slight buff, so we can actually mount a Mark 68 on this slot on the heavy cruiser. That will cost us 75 points, which is quite a lot. If we want to go all in, we can actually also add 2 Mark 66. Now that is a lot of firepower, and one of the problems I have with this mount on the Axford, the heavy cruiser, is that it is rear facing, which means you're fine for broadsides, but a lot of the time if you're engaging in the front 45-degree angles, you're not going to get this gun involved. So I'm wondering if we want to use this mount, or if we want to just stick with the front mount. So do we want to go for 5 cannons, or do we want to go for 7 cannons? I think I probably want to try it with all of these, but I'm curious to see how much work this will actually do. What I also like to do on my ships is I want to make sure all of them have chaff. So let's just have a look at what we've got for PD launchers. We'll probably use this lower launcher here as our chaff launcher. So we'll put a VLS 123 in there. And I'm just going to preload it. I want 4 riposts. That's just what I like to put in there. And then we'll max it out with chaff. So it's 19 chaff, 4 riposts in this launcher here. Then we've got the main cannons. What else do we want on here? Do we want a radar? Because what we could do is we could mount a parallax radar. So there's 3 main radars in the game. I haven't talked about this in the video yet. We've got the parallax radar, the frontline radar, and the spyglass radar. The frontline is your standard one. It has a range of, what's the range? The range is 8 kilometers, and it does not allow for locks. No, it can't allow for locks, but you can sweep, which means you can push through jamming. There is also the parallax radar. The parallax radar has a 9.5 kilometer range, and it allows you to lock. But it can't, I believe you can't lock from, the wording of this confuses me a little bit. It just means that if you can't see a target, you can't use someone else's. Hey Reno, just so you know, thanks for tuning in, but the game has just been cancelled, so I'm just doing some shipbuilding, just so as not to waste the stream. I probably won't be on for too long. But if you're interested in some shipbuilding in this game, feel free to hang around. I want to try and build a decent cannon, a heavy cruiser at least. So we've got the parallax radar, which has a longer range and allows for locks. There's also the spyglass range, which is 11.5 kilometer range, but doesn't let you lock or sweep. Sweeping is important because it's how you clear jamming. The parallax does let you sweep. So yeah, I'm wondering if we want to put a parallax on here. One of the reasons we can get away with a parallax is that we're not going to be having many energy weapons on this ship, so we don't need to worry about our power too much. We're not going to have that much draw. I mean, with the current weapons we've got on here, we're only using 51% of our power. So I think we're going to go for a parallax and see how it goes. Iviklaf, if that's how I pronounce it correctly. I'm saying it to everybody, but yeah, the game is unfortunately being postponed until tomorrow, which is a bit of a shame, but it's fine. I'm going to do a short stream just so there's something here. Feel free to hang around if you want to, but I totally get it if you don't want to. Oh, is it being cut off? Oh, I can see that it is being cut off. Why is that happening? Is that better? I just think, you know what? I think I dragged it. It should be fine now, Max Bersey. Thank you for letting me know, or it would have been like that the whole time. But I can see that I just dragged it over. Alright, so we've got our parallax radar. We're now at 82% power, so we have to bear that in mind when we're building the ship. I do want to get PD on this ship because I'm seeing... This is actually going to go against what we're thinking the meta is going to be like for this tournament, because what we think is after how well that destroyer group performed, the 3-beam destroyer group, we're going to see lots of small task forces of ships rather than big cruisers and destroyers and battleships doing most of the work. It's going to be smaller ships. But I still want to try and build the ship just to see how it goes. So what I like to do is we've got these mounts here. We've got one PD mount here and one PD mount here on the top and bottom both sides. Actually, it's a side mount here, which is a little bit bigger. You can put things like Mark 22s on these. I could put some Mark 62s on these, which did also get a range buff, which would be quite funny, but I don't think they're worth mounting. It's just a mix of weapon types. I could also look at putting something like an MLS2 on there, just to get rapid fire missiles if I want to, but I think I'm going to shy away from missiles. The other option is we could put something like a pinard in here, or even something like a bullseye. But we've already got the parallax, and I don't think it's worth doubling up. There is also the possibility of putting something like a blanket jammer on. That is going to use up a lot of power though. Let's try and keep this low. What I like to do is kind of keep my ship single focus. So this is going to be an assault ship. I don't want to put too much E-War on it, and I'll have a second E-War ship to back it up. If I want to go nuts on PD though, just to see, we've got a PD mount here, we've got 2 PD mounts on the top of the ship. That is a little bit awkward for protecting the bottom side, but we could go defender on the front, then we could go rebound on these 2 top slots. Now we've still got these 4 slots, so I think we put a defender on each side. That's that slot there. That's not the right slot. It's not quite the slot I wanted to put it in. I want to put a defender here and a rebound there, and then a defender. Is that the right place? No, I want to put a rebound there and a defender here. So we should have defender, rebound, rebound, defender. This has ended up being a defender again. I want it to be a rebound. That's what I want to check out TRM, because literally yesterday morning, after those games have been played, the cannons got buffed and they swapped the durability. So these are now, previously to this patch, the railgun turrets were tougher than the 450mm turrets. Now the 450mm turrets have more durability than the railgun turrets. The one thing I'm thinking right now is this ship's going to end up being really slow. What's the speed run it right now? Weapons, communications, damage control, sensors, propulsion. So right now the speed is 18 meters per second. I can boost that by mounting another engine. What you can do if you want to be nuts is actually put multiple whiplashes on. You shouldn't do this on a heavy cruiser, but just to see, I think I can fit another whiplash here. I can only mount 2 whiplashes, but that gets our top speed up to 25 meters per second, which is quite fast for heavy cruiser. It also gives us extra power. We're up to 1,000 points for this thing though, which is really expensive. It does need the ability to cover the ground quickly because it is going to be a shorter range ship. If we just take I'm not going to keep this on, but if we just put a magazine on for a second and just check the 450mm AP shells, they have a range of 11,250 meters, which is an improvement on what they were before. I think they were 10 or 8,000 before. Now most engagements, I believe, start at something like 70,000 meters apart, so you still have to get quite close. So I wonder if the double whiplash is where I want to go. The downside of the double whiplash is your turn rate is very slow. And because we've built the ship with this rear cannon, it's going to really struggle to bring that round to bear. Now one thing I've never investigated, but I will have a look at for right now, is mixing the engines. So if I take a whiplash and what's the one with a fast turn? And a dragonfly, we end up with a top speed of 20 meters per second. Well, that top speed of 20 meters per second, and a turn rate of 5 degrees per second. Well, is that a good idea? I don't know. I've never mixed 2 engines before. I've never thought it was worth doing. It's probably a terrible idea, if we're completely honest. But why not give it a try? Just to see, because that's the thing I need to do in this game more, is try things out. I haven't done it enough. I've stuck with very cookie cutter builds when I've been playing it. It's not done me particularly well. So what else do we want to put on here? We've got all the compartments on full. We need to fill this magazine off. I don't want to put it here. One of the things to watch out for when you're building your ships, and here's a pro tip, is that when ships are firing at each other, they tend to aim for the center of mass. So most shots will land in this area here. Now that's not to say everyone will land here, but you'll find a lot of shots will tend to hit in the center of the ship. So putting explosive or dangerous components in the modules that are on the outside or low down does help protect them, and does make it so that your ship might not lose something too important too early. The other thing I would say is don't ever underestimate damage control, especially in the brawler, which is what this ship is intended to be. And I also want to get as many ammunition elevators as I can that I can get away with to deal with that reload speed. Because right now, the reload speed on our guns, the Mark 68 is sitting at, what's the reload speed? 20 seconds, as is the Mark 66. If I add one ammunition elevator, we get down to 17 seconds. If I add another one, 14 seconds. So it's a diminishing return. Alright, well, that game that I casted the other day, TRM, it had a multi-engine light cruisers, and they were so fast. They had two whiplashes. They were able to take territory so quickly. The downside is that they didn't have the staying power, which is why I'm looking at doing it for a heavy cruiser. I don't think it's going to work, but I need to try it to find out if it's good enough, you know? The problem with light cruisers is I love them. They're actually my favorite ship in the game. From a looks perspective, I love the mounts on them. I really like the fact that they're kind of built around the Mark 64 cannon, but they're just not. Their role seems to be get into position quickly and hold a point, but they're not durable enough to actually hold that point or just to steal a point, unless they're fighting corvettes or frigates, which you generally do because they're not ships that hang around. So I think the heavy cruiser is where we need to go to get that same ability. So with 2 ammunition elevators, we're up to 1,122 points, and we're looking at 14-second reload speed. I don't think it's worth mounting a third one, because that gets us down to 12 seconds. So we're only gaining 2 seconds there. So I'm actually going to remove that. There's other stuff that we need to have on the ship before we go any further with that. Now, those ammunition elevators are right in the middle of the ship. Let's see if we can mount them somewhere a bit better. I don't think I can fit them in a 2x2x2. If I remember right, no I can't. So I've got to fit them in a 3x3x3. All the 3x3x3s are in the middle of the ship, so it doesn't really matter too much, but I will put them in these back two rather than the front two. So 1 second while we go. Ammunition elevator. No, we can put ammunition elevators in 2x2, so let's do that then. So let's get these out of here. And let's put them in the safest 2x2. So there's one here at the front of the ship. I'll put one here. And I'll put one at the rear of the ship if I've got a space for it. Put one up there near the bridge. Let's do that. Ammunition elevator. Now, one of the other things I like to sometimes do is move the CIC, because the CIC in this ship is right in the middle. But I could, if I want to, move it right to the top of the ship here. Yeah, the fast light cruisers are really cool, and I want to play with that more. But right now, I still don't think they've got the staying power for it. And because this is a brawling ship, I probably want to go with a reinforced CIC rather than a basic CIC. That just gives it a bit more of a damage threshold. And that puts it up here where it's a little bit less likely to be hit. So let's get rid of this CIC. Now, what else do we need? We need berthing, we need damage control, and we need a magazine. So where's a good place to put the magazine? That's not too bad at the bottom of the ship. Yeah, let's put the magazine in this 6x1x4. So I want to go for a reinforced magazine on the ship as well. That's an extra, it's actually no extra points, but it takes a little bit of power draw. We're fine on power at the moment. But because the ship is going to be brawling, it's going to be taking damage, I really want to make sure that everything is protected. Now, in terms of ammo, I want about, let's go for a minimum of 250 flak rounds, which isn't very much. Let's go for a minimum of, say, 3,000 rounds for the PD, which I think is maybe a bit low. Well, that's actually quite interesting, Reno, because the guy who played in that game was looking to co-host with me for the live commentary for the game we were going to cast tonight, and I kind of chickened out of it a bit, but I think if I get online to record it tomorrow, I will actually co-host with him, and we can ask him if there's any quiet points in the game about those. Actually, it was the winner that I'm going to co-host with, not the guy who did the light cruisers. I can still find out and ask him, because I'm hanging out in the Discord with him, because I'm really curious about that build as well. I actually want to talk to people after games about their ships, and maybe even get them to take us through their fleets, because I'm really curious about what people are building. And it's kind of like your secret information, your secret meta, as to what you're building. Now, with a 450mm, your armor-piercing rounds have an armor pen of 80 centimeters, and your HE rounds have an armor penetration of 65 centimeters. The heavy cruisers have 40 centimeters of hull, and the battleships, if I remember right, have 52 centimeters of hull. So if you are brawling with a battleship, you might not penetrate with HE sometimes, but I don't think you really need to take AP shells. Someone will prove me wrong, but I'm just going to go with AP. Let's take 1,000 of those, which is super overkill. In fact, we can only take 268. That's probably enough. Is that enough? Well, let's find out. We'll do a couple of games with it and see. All right, so we've got our ammo. Now we need berthing as well. Berthing I'm not too worried about. It's kind of a thing that I can shove anywhere. I don't think losing the berthing is too much of a bad thing, so we'll just put that. We need weapons assigned to groups as well, so we'll just do that really quickly. Now, what I like to do, actually, with my guns is name them after the range of their fire. So hang on 1 second. 11,250. So if I call the group, I need to remove it from the group and then re-add it. If I call the group 11,250, I know what the range of this gun is while I'm in battle without needing to remember it, which is something that I fall over a lot. Is this different ranges of guns, different ways they work. So just having the guns, the weapon group named after the range, just a reminder to me as to like what I want to set it to. Okay, what else have we got? We've got birthing, we've got a magazine. What we don't have is damage control, and there's other things I want to put. Now I want to try and keep the points total of the ship under 1,500 points, which is already extremely expensive for a heavy cruiser. And I think this ship is going to be a boondoggle. Too much of an investment, but I want to check it out. So let's have a look at... what do we want to have? We want to have damage control. A ship like this could do with a damage control center, which gets us 50% team move speed plus 10% repair speed. I think that's a want to have, not a need to have. Large DC locker gets us 2 restores, which is good. Rapid DC locker gets us no restores, but they have a faster repair speed. So they are interesting to use. Reinforced DC locker, I don't think we need, compared to just having a large DC locker. Small DC locker, it doesn't really have any room here. Small workshops are interesting because they just give you a repair speed buff. I think we definitely want a large DC locker, so where do we want to put that? Probably one of these front zones here, compartment 9 or 10. We put it in compartment 9. Put a large DC locker here. We will put... tempted to put damage control center in as well. Just for the faster repair speed, and we can go with 2 large DC lockers. Very expensive, but honestly, DC is the way you keep your ships alive. We're at 1268. This also means that I can overburn my engines. I can go at flank speed for much longer because the DC teams will keep the engines working at least a little while. We're sitting at 1,268 points. We still have numerous compartments free. The biggest weakness the ship has at the moment is it's blind without any, unless it's in knife fighting range, basically. Yeah, flak ammo is very expensive, you're right. It's not per point, it's per X rounds. That's costing me no points to remove at all. There you go. So I think it's like 225 is 75 points. Yeah, there, you're right there. So I can get rid of that. That can drop me a little bit in points, and I'm more rounded out. Thank you for pointing that. I can also do the same with the slugs. Just put that down until I lose a point, and that's my threshold, so I'm not wasting a point on half ammo. Something I've never even really thought about, but it does make perfect sense. This could take a while. Let's drop it to 2.8 and see if that goes down. No, let's drop it to 2.7. 2.5. Okay, somewhere between 2.5 and 2.7. Oh, I think I passed it. Or am I going insane? Yeah, it's actually 2.5. I looked away at chat for a second when I was clicking up. Okay, so now we're using full amounts of ammo. We can also push this up because we're between a point here, or we can come down to the next point bracket for the 450mm as well. There you go. 250 is a point as well. So that's our ammo rounded out and much nicer. We're not wasting points on half ammo. So we're sitting at 1,265 points right now. We've got our PD, we've got our chaff, we've got our missile interception. What else can we put on here? What else are we thinking about? So on the module section, we don't need supplementary radio amplifiers. We don't need launcher deluge system. We do kind of take magazine sprinklers. I've never used these before, but they do reduce the chance of a catastrophic magazine event. My magazine is in a location where it shouldn't take fire, and it is a reinforced magazine, so fingers crossed I shouldn't need that. Redundant reactor failsafes. If this ship is in that situation, it's probably not going to need anything. The reinforced thruster nozzles are actually something we should seriously consider. They're 10 points, and they reduce the flank damage probability, and this ship it needs to be at flank speed a lot. Signature scrambler. I've never really played with this component. I don't know if it's worth it. An adaptive radar receiver is actually quite useful on this ship because it's a protected module that we can use for our parallax radar. Track correlators are also very important for this ship as well. Actively cooled amplifiers, no use on this ship. Energy regulators, no use on the ship. Focus particle accelerators, no use on the ship. Mount gyros, yes. So let's take a look. How much power do we have left? We're at 95% power. What I would really like to do is get a track correlator on here, a mount gyro on here, and some reinforced thruster nozzles. So I'm not too worried about modules for these. They're kind of going to soak up some damage. But let's look at putting some in the 2x2. So reinforced thruster modules, that doesn't cost us any power. A mount gyro will cost us 150 kilowatts, which we can fit. Let's take that. And where is it? Track correlator as well costs us another 150, which we can't quite squeak that in, unfortunately. And I would quite like to have one. If I do that, what we can end up with is maybe making some room for a microreactor or a reactor booster. Does increase our radar signature slightly. The other option is we go for a plant control center, which will get us an extra 20% power plant efficiency for 25 points. Now, we're still under my points value for the ship. I still think it's overpriced, but we can try that. That gives us a lot more power to work with. We've got the track correlator. What are we looking at for our guns? Minus 7.5% spread on accuracy. We've got plus 28% reload time, plus 25% traverse speed, plus 20% elevation rate. What if we grab ourselves another mount gyro? That gets us to minus 14 spread. We're up to 1,365 points. I think, honestly, we're probably in a good position with this ship. Any other compartments I want to look at, I think we're good. I think I'm putting too much into it. We've got 2 large DC lockers, 1 damage control center, 1 power plant. We don't have an analysis annex or an intelligence center. These are both modules I like to have, but I don't think they fit on this ship. Only 1 magazine. There's also the gun plotting center, which for 30 points and 50 kilowatts gets us another spread bonus. Wow. That's much better than the mount gyros. Are the mount gyros cumulative in terms of price? No, they're not. We're up to 1,365. We need more crew. That's fine. We just chuck it at the berthing in. Doesn't cost us any points. It costs us 24 points because it compounds. Oh, that's a bit annoying. What we could do is get rid of one of these gyros then. We still don't have enough crew. We're running with a parallax, not a front line though. That's why, because I didn't want to run a bullseye fire control radar on this ship, because I'm expecting it to be jammed a lot. So I wanted to run with a parallax, which is maybe a mistake, but I wanted to try it out. We are over on crew by how much? 12 crew. That's unfortunate. I don't really want to spend the 24. Well, the 24 points I was going to spend on the crew, I've now freed up by getting rid of that. I feel like we're now over on the ship. I feel like we're over on cost, we're over on crew, and we're over on power, because we've got sitting at 85% power here. What if we get rid of the plant control center, because we only need a little squeak of power, and what if we get ourselves a small reactor booster? That's only going to cost 10 points. I guess it's 92% power. We could maybe take the gyro back there. This is 95% power. We have enough crew. We'll maybe give that a try. Honestly, I think the ship is too expensive. It's badly armed. It's too easy to detect. But we'll give it a try. We'll call this, we'll name it after the person that it most represents, which is the Admiral Dowd. So there's the Admiral Dowd. That's the first part of our fleet. What I would like to emulate, I don't know if I can fit it into this fleet. Just thinking about it, is those keystones, those beam keystones were really, really good. So let's get a beam cannon in here. Now that guy mounted on his beams, he had chaff, probably, I think it was on this back slot here. In fact, he used ripostes. He used ripostes, but I always like to have chaff on my ships. And he also had a Mark 64 on this top slot, which was really interesting. I actually did him a lot of work. I don't know how much damage it did, but it just gave them a long range firing capability that they maybe wouldn't have had normally. So that was the basics, and then they had a mixture of blankets and bullseyes. We put a bullseye on the bottom. Do you want a bullseye on the bottom or a bullseye on the side? Because we've got these side slots here. I kind of want to put PD on the sides. We could go for I wonder if we could fit Auroras on here. We probably can't, but they do work quite nicely. It's probably total overkill. This ship costs 582 points and is way overpowered. But let's just see what we can do with it. Definitely need to get probably a large DC locker at least. What I would really like to do, if I could, is get it to have the same speed as the Admiral Dowd, which at the moment they do. Because I want them to work together. I want to have two of these keystones working with the Admiral Dowd in a combat group. That's what I'm thinking. And they can support each other. So they're at the same speed right now. What we need is more power. I could switch out the F2000 to a Whiplash, which would get us an extra 650 kilowatts. No, fire it away, Reno. I'm very curious. And JD is doing tons of great content for this game, and he's managing to catch all of the games that I'm missing. Oh, I didn't know I could plus and minus using Control and Shift. That is really useful. Thank you for letting me know. We could use the Whiplash here for an extra 650 kilowatts of power, but that puts our top speed up by 20%, and I'm actually really happy that these ships currently share top speed, because that is perfect for them working together. So what I'm actually going to look at is maybe fitting another reactor. I can get an FR3300 micro reactor, which gets us an extra 2, that's just not enough. But then if we get a plant control center, which we're going to need anyway, that gets us 91%. Now I'm also going to need ammo for the Mark 64. I'm going to work my components out later. Let's just get the magazine in here. We want probably a mix of AP and HE for the ship. Now the range on that is 8,000 meters. So let's just, again, group this gun in a group with the name of, with the range of itself, so 8,000. And that just means that I know that it can fire out to 8,000 meters. Same I come with the beam cannon in a group, because then I could put its range on, which is, if I remember right, 6,000 meters. So there's a little bit of an overlap, but not quite. We need ammo for this ship. We need a way bigger crew complement, so let's grab a berthing. We probably need 2 berthings. No, one's enough. Okay. I also want to get... I don't think we can fit many of them. The actively cooled amplifiers is burst and cooldown time, and the energy regulator is reload time and cooldown for the beam. This is for emitters, that's right. This is for jammers and stuff. It's this I want. This is 99% power. And we're sitting at we're sitting at how many points? 694 points. So if I go for 100, what's the point difference there? So it's 100 of each. That gets me at 696 points. I could bring it up to 700 points if I was feeling cheeky by going 400 and 400. No, I didn't calculate that right. 708, so it's less than I thought. Let's go for 200. 200, that's perfect. 700 points for that ship. Well, let's see what you're saying here. Damage control is a science in itself with an invisible parameters like damage reduction and armor. Initially, I ran with as many large DCs as possible to get more restores. But when running the starter Oak fleet, I noticed that rapid DC is more valuable than you can deduct. When components take damage, the faster you get repair teams on them, the better, and makes stuff last. That does make sense. Maybe we want to go back to the Admiral Dowd and swap out one of the large DCs for a rapid DC. I did talk about it. So the large DC has a repair speed of 0.8 hit points per second. The rapid has a repair speed of 1.2, which is 0.5 faster. We don't get any restores. They also get there faster because they move much quicker. This team moves at 2, this team moves at 4. So I think you need to have 1 large DC for the restores. So a 4 restore CA with 2 large, 2 rapid, and some workshops will last much longer versus attrition than with many restores. That's a really good point because this is an attrition ship. Let's swap that over for a rapid then. I don't think I could fit another large, because you're saying 2 large, 2 rapid, which is a lot. I mean, I could get another large in there. I could go 2 large, 2 rapid. If we want to go all in, we could do 2 large, 2 rapid and just see how it works out. That gives us 2 restores. That gives us 4 restores and a lot of repair teams. I'm going to try it. And then we've got this guy at exactly 700. We'll call this the Mark 80. And then we're going to copy it. and we'll call this one. I'm going to read. I'm going to misspell his name. If someone in chat could correct me on Pyotr's surname, because I can never remember. Ignevich. It's something like this, but that is wrong. So if someone in chat could correct me on Pyotr's name. And also thank you everyone for hanging around while I just build ships. It's pretty cool just to hang out. Alright, so we've got our CAs. Sorry, our DDs. We've got 2 beam destroyers with... I did put a blank bullseye. They both got bullseyes on them. I could replace this bullseye with a blanket. This ship will need a little bit more power to do that. But I think I could probably knock the Chin Aurora off. And that gets us the power we need. That makes it not quite 700 points. So we've got a jammer and we've got a blanket to scan with. Now these ships only have a large DC locker. What if I replace them with rapids? Because they aren't going to last very long. You saw in that game when we got into the DD versus DD fight, when they started firing beams at each other, they ended it. The fight ended very, very quickly. Thank you very much. I can't pronounce your name, unfortunately. It is not coming through as readable characters on my screen, but I will rename the ship to the correct spelling. Ingnatovich. Pyotr Ivanovich. Cool. So we've got the Admiral down, the Mark Secretary, Pyotr Ivanovich. We are sitting at 2,733 points. Now, if I was building for 3,000 points, this would be a disaster. But I'm actually building for the tournament. Even though I'm not taking part in the tournament, I want to have a 6k fleet. So we've got our primary brawler. We've got our 2 DDs to support it. The way I'd want them to work together, this is just a visual, is I want them to work together in a unit. So I would want the beam ships probably somewhere like, we'll say 500 meters out. They probably wouldn't stay like this for the whole fight. Look at me trying to get exactly 500 meters like it matters. And then we'll do the same thing here, and we'll have him come 500 meters out on this plane. Oh, so just while I'm doing this, can we talk about how good the music in this game is? It is amazing. And this is a task group that will work to go into the middle, basically copying the task group that we saw in that game that I cast last time. Just that same idea. They're going to go in, they're going to do the work. This is my main frontline unit. Now, in 6,000 points, what I think I need is long-range support in the way of missiles and railguns, or I need some decent E-War, and I'm really excited to mess around with E-War. So let's talk about an E-War hull. There's really 2 hulls that I would consider using for E-War. The Sprinter, which by the way, a lot of people are using at least one Sprinter with nothing on it to capture points. Just a completely naked Sprinter, just spending 100 points on it and not caring if it dies and keeping it back until later in the game where it can capture points, which is interesting. Now, let's just take one of each so we can discuss it. So the Sprinter, it has some good things going for it in terms of it is 140 points for Sprinter, 165. Did it say 100 points in here? Point cost 100. So this has not been updated. The Sprinter at one point was 100 points. But if we check in here now, it is 140 points. Unless, no, it's 100 points for the hull. It's 100 points for the hull, but then it gets all this stuff added to it. So as an E-War ship, what we could very easily do, with very cheaply, is just put a pinard on the chin mount, which means you don't have to worry too much about its orientation. That brings us to 170 points. You could even get away then with putting a VLSL 216 on here, and chucking in, let's just, for the fun of it, let's put 16 Thunderheads on here. So now we've got a missile corvette with Elint. This can work independently on its own because the Elint will give it a direction to fire the missiles along. 276 points. Now, this is I'm not sure about. I'm just not sure about the missile corvette. I know it's really popular. I definitely don't want to spam them, but it seems like a cool little ship. Now, if I wanted to spend a lot of money on it, what I could do, I could give it a spyglass, which gets it 11.5 kilometers of range, but honestly, this ship's probably going to have its radar off. What you could even do, if you wanted to be really spicy, is take the radar off it. But that is only, what, front line is 10 points. So it's not like you're getting rid of something crazy. You can keep the front line on there and just turn it off and save that 10 points for later in the game. But what we could do, again, if we want to get spicy with it, is change out the FM200 for a Prowler drive. So the Prowler drive gives you 25% less top speed, but 25% less radar signature. There's also the Raider drive, which, no, it gives you, yeah, it's the Prowler drive. If you want to go with the Prowler drive, that drops your top speed down to 26.25 kilometers per meters per second. Our ship cost is now 291 points, which is a lot. But just continuing the thought experiment a little bit further, what we could also do is mount on here, it's down here, I think, a signature scrambler, which now makes our identification difficulty 400 and our radar signature 2000 meters squared. If I remove this module, it doesn't do anything to our radar signature. So Signature Scrambler doesn't affect it just affects how easy it is for us to be picked up. But it's the Prowler drive that reduces our radar signature. Is that useful? I don't know. Making the ship harder to pick up does sound quite cool, especially if you are able to sit on these missiles until right at the end of the game. When everything's exhausted, people have taken damage, people are running out of PD, etc. It could be really cool. So that could be one E-War ship. The other option is to use a frigate. The frigate is not that much more expensive at 165 points compared to the 125 this comes with. What we could do here is... The big problem with the frigate is it's a big box, basically. It's a big box in space. So if you put a pinard on any of its quadrants, the ship blocks it, and you have to keep that pinard face to the enemy. You have to do a lot of rolling. It's not that hard, but sometimes in the middle of a fight, you don't really want to mess around with that kind of that micro. What if we dumped that and took two of these? So we've got two corvettes that are set up for E-War, missiles and being sneaky. It's probably a waste of points, but I'm trying some weird stuff with this fleet. So let's call this the... Referencing back to my first High Fleet Let's Play, the Dreams of Issy. Dreams of Duchess Issy. And need a name for this ship, we'll call it the Pride of Kiva. I'm running out of High Fleet names. Okay. So we've got our primary engagement fleet, we've got some light E-War. I was saying that we need some long-range support, so I want a decent platform for either missiles or for railguns. Now, the only ships that can mount railguns are the Axford and the Solomon. So if I want to do that, I either need to take another heavy cruiser, which I can afford, or a battleship. You can do some pretty crazy things with railgun and heavy cruiser. It's not too bad. One thing I don't have at the moment is a lot of jamming. No communication jamming, and I'm relying on chaff to protect the Dowd, the Sadie, and the Ignovich. I can't really jam incoming missiles too well, unless I'm battle shotting my jammer if I'm already using it. The other thing to bear in mind is there is a limit of 10 ships. I can't just fill my fleet up with E-War corvettes. I still have 3,000 points to spend. The other option for railguns, of course, is I could take a couple more keystones. And I could use railgun keystones, but I have very limited success with railgun keystones. I just find that the heavy cruiser or battleship railgun ships are much better. Let's go for another Axford. Let's try this out. Let's call this, which I've spelled incorrectly, so someone please correct me on the spelling of Sevastopol, because I always have a blind spot for it. But we could go with a Mark 81, a Mark 81, and a Mark 82. And keep this at max range, and we could set it up with... Probably want to keep the front line on here, but what we want is a blanket. Or do we want a spotlight actually on this ship? So the blanket, no, not blanket, sorry. We've got the bullseye. The bullseye gives us a 9-kilometer radar lock. The spotlight... 1,200 meters. I think we just want a bullseye on this. We hopefully don't need to use it. We've got the bullseye to back us up. What what is the range of a railgun again? Let's just grab a berth for a quick second. Not a berth, a magazine. It is 24,000 meters, that's right. So let's make a group here, we'll call it 24,000 meters. God, it takes a long time to put a fleet together, doesn't it? Thank you for hanging around. And please, if you, please feel free to chat, because I'm quite happy to answer questions and stuff. Alright, so we've got our railguns set up. I honestly don't really want to use railguns, but I also don't want to use missiles because the micro is too high, whereas I can kind of set and forget with a railgun ship. What I really want to get in here is as many focus particles out known. Where are they? Yeah, I want to get as many energy regulators in here as possible because they affect the reload speed of your railguns, not ammunition elevators, which a lot of people get caught out by. So if we have a look here, also we're over on power, so let's just change this to a whiplash. That still doesn't give us enough power, but we'll come back to that. So we're looking at 24-second reload. If I take another one, we're looking at an 18-second reload. I think I can get away with 3. That gets us down to a 14-second reload on the guns, which is okay. We need to deal with our power situation. I think another reactor is kind of called for here. Like it's a 91% power. We're up to, this is a lot of points on the ship, 981 points on the ship. I don't want to spend that much more on it. However, we definitely need a flak. So we don't have flak, so we need chaff. Where is that? We'll use this for chaff. Again, I like to go with 4 ripostes, just in case. And I've got my PDMSL setting set to only intercept torpedoes. And we'll go with 19 chaff. So that's some protection. How much power do we have? 92% power. Can I get away with Auroras on this ship? I probably can't. They're probably too expensive and too much of a draw. Yeah, 1 Aurora gets us to 99%. Let's not do that. We already have a magazine on this ship, so let's just get some defenders. No, we'll do the same setup as we did on the other one. So defender, rebound, defender, rebound. What have we got? I built a relatively effective fleet using 2 railgun destroyers and a Rains with E-War Illuminator and PD that alike cruise with more E-War to find targets and scramble them. I'm just not comfortable enough with my E-War game yet to try stuff like that out. I need to get better at it. What I'm trying to do with this fleet is just determine, all I care about is this viable? I don't even care if this ship is viable, are the guns viable? Are the Mark 66 and the Mark 68s actually good now they've been buffed? But I need to do what you're saying and get better with with the E-War game. The Sevastopol here, what do we still need for this? We need, sitting at 1,000 points, the game is so overwhelming. I struggle so much with shipbuilding because I'm like, right, I'll sit down and I'll build a ship and I'm really happy with that ship. And then I need another 8 ships to complete this fleet. And then I'm going to get them all through a fight. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, we need ammo for our stuff. So let's grab flak rounds. Let's grab slugs. Sorry, game cancelled. Yeah, not the actual. Let's fix that. Let's fix the name of the stream because that's concerning people. It's not game cancelled. Match was cancelled. Tournament match was cancelled. It's actually postponed till tomorrow, and I'm going to try and stream it tomorrow. So there's the stream name change, just so that doesn't happen to anybody else. Because I get it, that is overheading it. Alright. Yeah, the sphere, not just the sphere, the hardest thing in this game isn't movement, it's facing, it's setting headings. Because you have to go on the other side of the sphere and kind of look out in the direction you want to go to, and sometimes you end up clicking and you actually set a heading in the completely opposite direction of where you wanted to set a heading, and that's really hard to fix, especially when your ship takes forever to turn around. Okay, what do we need here? We need crew. Let's get berth. Let's get a large DC because this is a long-range ship, and I want to have at least some DC. Honestly, I don't think this is a very good ship. I'm throwing this together really quickly. Thanks, Jade Red. That's cool to hear. I'm really enjoying trying to get into this game, but I struggle with it because I'm not very good at it. 100 flak rounds. What was the points? It was 275 rounds per point on flak and 225 rounds per point on slugs. All right, and then I also want rail sabos. I can't remember what the points final on these is. I think it's 50 for one. Is that right? No, it's not. Yeah, it's 50 for 1. 50 is 1 point. Is that right? Yeah, 50 for 1. Alright, we'll probably want more rounds. Let's take 200 rail rounds. Let's take 450 slugs. Honestly, that's really low, but I'm trying not to spend too many points on the ship. We still have 2,000. So this CH is a long-range support CH. I'm trying to build a 6,000 point fleet. The whole point of this fleet is to test 2 theories. 1, 450mm cannons were buffed in the last patch. I want to see if they're any good. And 2, is it worth building formations like this to use as your close range brawling stuff that is then supported with long range units like this CH here? I don't know if it is. I need to test it out to fight. But the three beam DDs in that last game that I cast worked so well that I'm wondering if I get a fast heavy cruiser in there, and it's fast in inverted commas, with just a little bit more staying power than a fast LC. The Aurora's just too much energy at the moment. For what I've built, I actually have Auroras on my DDs. They're mounting Auroras to help protect the CH. But Auroras on this ship, I don't have the power for, because I've got the railguns. We're really tight on power on this ship right now. Yeah. It is very costly, whereas the rebounds and defenders are so cheap. This is Nebulous Fleet Command. It's a tactical space stress simulator. It's probably one of the most stressful games I've ever played in my life, because you go from a really chill cruising around in space to 100 missiles flying at you out of the black in a couple of seconds. BBDs are very fragile. The idea is to overwhelm the enemy and defeat them in detail, not get into a straight-on engagement. But that is why the Admiral Dowd is here, because the Admiral Dowd is there to stay and fight while the BMDDs pull back, hopefully, and it can take the hits. Generally, when I have played this game, maybe it's I play against less good players, but they tend to focus on the biggest ship they see, which might let the BMDDs get away. My plan is also to separate them as quickly as possible, rather than fight my enemy head on. So that's where I'm thinking. I need to get the actual fleet into combat, and I don't know what to spend the rest of my points on. The Sevastopol here is a complete boondoggle. It just has railguns. Do you know what I want to build? Do you know what I want my last ship to be? I saw, unfortunately, this game, I tried to cast this game and it didn't work because I'm bad at live streaming. But the guy who won the game had a light cruiser. Bear with me. It had 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5 at least MLS2s. I'm not joking. That is all it had. If you don't know what the MLS2 is, you've probably seen a lot of people mounting the VLS 216, which is a ship-mounted missile launcher. Our corvettes have it here. The MLS2 is a roll-on launcher. That means that it loads from an internal... There you go. I need 350mm rail sub. It's like doing the math that I hadn't done. I've got more than enough rail sub rounds. I'm going to take on 20 minutes of combined fire. How many did I put on here? We've got 450... No, we've got 200. So that's like 18 to 17 minutes of fire. That's fine. That's all we can. That's more than enough. If I'm fighting for that long, I've messed up because I want to win really quickly. But anyway, back to the bowels of Kale here. This guy had, it was either 5 or 6 MLS2s. And he must have had, yeah, JD does have a recording of that game. Please check out JD's channel. He's pretty much cast every game. He's working so hard to get the games out. He's producing really good videos for it. I am not being as consistent as he is with streaming the tournament that we're trying to cast, so check his stuff out. I'll need to put a link to his channel. He gave me a shout out in his latest video, so I need to give him a shout out. But this ship, I'm really curious about it. So let's just call this Thunder Swarm. It doesn't really matter. The one thing I don't understand is how he fits so many missiles on the ship, because they're not cheap. Okay? So all of these are in the same group. Let's just get, I honestly just want to get, we'll get, again, 4 chaff, 4 riposte, And chaff, this is my special. 419. Yeah, the Red October. That was what he called the ship. This is it here, or at least my close approximation. I haven't checked I haven't gone back and watched the video, so I can't remember exactly what the layout was, but it was something like this. And he must have had, I don't think it must have just honestly been magazines of missiles, because you can only get, how many, if I just fill a magazine up with Thunderheads, you can get 36 Thunderheads in one magazine. And if we check the launcher, the MLS-2 launcher fires 4 missiles per volley. Am I missing? Yeah. So you can fire 4 missiles per volley. So 4, 8, 12. So how many have I got? 5? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So I'm firing 20 per shot in inverted commas. So that's 1 magazine per shot. It was used for sniping, not for hit and run. I'm also speculating on what the Red October was. But 1 magazine is 1, and he fired so many. Let's see how many I can get on here. I'm gonna build it. I'm gonna build it as close as I can because I'm so curious about it. This is the bulk magazine. We'll get 36 Thunderheads in here. Also, I'm very curious about the modular missile upgrade that's coming out. I don't know anything about that, but the next update for the game is called the modular missile update. Let's get another bulk magazine. Yeah, lots of blind fire artillery support, lots of curved missile barrages. How are we doing here for points? 5, 7, 4, 3. We currently have 4. Yeah, we've currently got what? We'll say just for making things simple, each magazine is 1.5 barrages, which isn't, but we'll say it. So we've got 3, 4.5. We can fit 1 more on here for sure. Okay. Oh, I can't even fit. I don't have enough points. No, I think I just typed wrongly there. No, why can't I fit? Because it's a smaller slot, no? Yeah, it's a 6x1x4. So if I get rid of this one, get out of here, and put it here, I should be able to fit more missiles in it. So that's something I wasn't sure about. But I have to use the 3 6x1x8s to get the 36 missiles. If I use the 6x1x4s, I can only get 19 missiles in here. Alright. So if we want ammunition elevators, let's have a look at that. The reload time at the moment on these launchers is 45 seconds. If I take 1 ammunition elevator, that drops to 38 seconds. If I take another one, that drops to 32 seconds. If I squeeze on a third one, 27 seconds on a reload. But we've gone over on our points value, so let's get rid of that last one. And let's get some crew on this ship. 6,047 points. 5999. Yes, Rodo, fighter bombers, carriers, they're on the to be done. They are coming. They're not in the next update, but I think they're planned for a very big update in the future, which is why I believe RPF rounds are in the game, which are proximity fuse rounds. Alright, we have our 6,000 point fleet. I think it's a mess, but let's give it a try. Right, I need a name for this. So someone suggested the Enduring Garati or the Proud Romani. Let's call this the Proud Romani. No. I totally get your naming convention, but this is a reference to my High Fleet campaign. The Saedi Special. Alright, so we've got the Admiral Dowd, the Mark Saedi, the Pyotr Ivanovich. That's our main attack fleet. We've got the Dreams of Issy and the Pride of Khiva. They're our E-War fleet ships. We've got the Sevastopol, which is our long-range railgun ship. And then we've got the Saedi Special, which is... the 16s are more point efficient, for sure. So the MLS2 is 20 points, and the 16 is 10 points. The difference is you can reload the MLS2. So if I was to work this out, 1632, is that right? 16, yeah, 1632, 64, 78 missiles total among these, and I'm currently mounting double the amount of missiles I could get if I use 16s. That's the difference. I can carry twice as many missiles, which honestly doesn't feel like that much, but when you see these fly, it's pretty crazy. We've got our fleet. Let's save it. Let's call it Complete Boondoggle. And you know what? Let's embarrass myself live on stream. Let's jump into a game. I'm not going to play against an opponent because I don't think I'll get a 6k game. We'll see if anything's happening. I doubt it. It's a bad time of day. There's a 3k here on pillars. Nobody plays 6. Alright, I'm just going to do a skirmish. It's not going to be that exciting. And I'm going to lose this skirmish. I just know I'm going to lose this skirmish. So I've got 5. So let's pick one of the maps from the tournament. Tempted by Avora. That was where that game that I streamed on before was. Lots of people are banning Cicada, which is interesting. Obviously, people don't like Luna. What else have we got? There's the belt. Summit Citadel, the belt, pillars. Well, let's work out what our op 4 is going to be. We're going to have to have 2... Oops. We're going to have 2 CPUs. I do not want them to fly this fleet against me. I could absolutely hate life and put myself up against 2 Task Fleet Ash. Yeah, 6k is too much, Crash Test, but that is what this tournament is running, and I'm trying to play with the tournament meta. So we could come up against Task Fleet Ash. We could play against my Mark 64 theory testing ships, which have torpedoes and just some weird shit. Let's put them up against one theory test fleet, which is 3,000 points. And what do we want to put the other 3,000 points towards? There's Task Force Ash, which is a close-range beam brawling fleet, which I've lost to so many times. There's Task Force Birch, which is a light cruiser Mark 64 fleet. We've already got that already. Task Force Oak is a 2 brawling heavy cruisers, which for 3,000 points is a bit silly. There's a Redwood fleet, which is a nice mix of actually railguns, missiles, and a spotter. There's Task Force Willow. These are ones made by the game, by the way, not my fleets, which is a combined arms fleet, railgun heavy cruiser, 2 semi-active missile frigates, and a beam destroyer. This fleet, we could go for... You want me to play against Oak? So, why is Oak a good choice? I'm curious why you want me to... I'll do it. Alright, we're going to do this. I'm going to go up against Oak and my Mark 64 fleet. Or do we want to go against Oak and Ash? Just to, like, make it extremely hard. Or Oak and Willow. Oh, I'm going to get absolutely destroyed. What do we think about Oak and Willow? I'll leave it for a couple of seconds, and then we need to work out a map. Alright, let's go Oak and Willow, which I'm going to lose against, even though I have a points advantage. Also, I'm sure you might be hearing the sleepy pupper. She's snoring next to me. Because it's a brawler fleet. Okay, that makes sense. My brawler fleet against their brawler fleet. Why don't we play on... I've never played on... I don't like Caltrop at all, even though it looks cool as hell. What about... Tempted to do Avora, just because that is the one that was on before. We'll put a 45 limit on, just so it doesn't last forever. I don't want it to last that long, though. I'm so nervous. Never played live before. Let's do it. I don't have any Illuminators on my fleet either. The problem I have is I have my plan and I go into a fight and just too much goes on and I lose it really quickly. But let's just go for it. We're going to enter Avora. We're going to try this. I don't think it's going to work. Let me know if the stream drops when it loads the game. It does do that sometimes. It's going to get really overwhelming. There's a lot of ships in the AO here. In fact, there's not 10. There's not more than 10. Okay, so what's our game plan? I think what I want to do... Sevastopol's easy. I want it to go up. Society's special. I want to sit somewhere where it gets decent missile coverage. it could maybe go and take point A for me and get it. It's probably too dangerous. Let's get our main battle group to head to point B. Cap, or do I want to go to Cap C? Cap C and work along. I don't have the fast CAs like he did. I think we're going to do that. We're going to cap point C, then move along. The nice thing about point C is it has good cover. And just bear in mind, I won't be able to. I'll try and follow chat as much as possible, and I'll probably try some other stuff later. This is just, I honestly just want to see if the Mark 64s are worth it. Okay, then we've got the Dreams of Issy, the Pride of Kiva. I want the Pride of Kiva to come low and take point D, and then just sit at the bottom of the field. And I want the Pride of Issy to come up here, and then give me Elent over this area here. That's kind of the plan. It's probably not going to work. All right, let's go. Let's do this. Yeah, I want to use the pin out to try and get railgun and missile targets. Okay, I even remember the hotkeys for Lunch and Chat. It's been a little while since I played. Okay, first of all, Admiral Doubt. Let's get you moving over here. In a path that's not going to collide you with anything. That's not going to cause a collision there, is it? It's very tight. We'll come back and deal with that later. Dreams of Issy, I want you to come up to around here. We'll sort out your rotation later. Sevastopol, I want you to slide in nice and neatly behind this rock. So come to here and then come down. Oh, I'm struggling to make this out. There we go. Just there. No, that's the Sevastopol. Sorry, Sevastopol doesn't want to do that. Sevastopol wants to go up. Just come straight up. Don't come up and back, though. See, this is the problem with going on a 3D plane. Sometimes you just make stupid mistakes. Straight up. Alright. Oh, we've got an Elent signal already. So we know there's an enemy ship somewhere along this line. That's cool to see. Society Special, I want you to tuck in behind this rock for now. The Pride of Kiva, I want you to come and capture D. That's nowhere near close enough. That's still not close enough. So we need to, I'm struggling with the rocks to find out where I am. There's the position. Just come to a bit higher up. Just come to there. Alright, now that everybody's moving, let's get the Pride of Kiva to rotate. Let's jump to it. Pride of Kiva is 5. I want it to rotate upside down. Admiral Dowd, I want you to turn your radar off for the moment. Try and keep you sneaky for as long as possible. Dreams of Issy, let's keep your radar on. Pride of Kiva, keep your radar on for now. Sevastopol radar off. Society Special radar off. Comms receive. Comms receive. Oh, we've got enemy targets. No, we've got a second Elent signal. So we know where one of the enemy fleets are. Yeah, that's a good point. No, so, TRAM. This fleet, this formation, this group is specifically built so they all have the same top speed. Oh, I see what you mean, so that they don't... yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, they're set to loose. Cool. So we've got enemy contacts out here. They're probably somewhere around here right now. This is why Elent is cool. What we want to do is just take this nice and slow. Don't put anyone in a position where they can take too much damage. Society Special's in a nice location. Pride of Kiva's moving into capture Delta. The main fleet's moving into capture Charlie. Dreams of Issy will be protected by this rock, which will block its radar. It's Elent. Who has radar on right now? Dowd and Okko have the radar off. Dreams of Issy has radar on. Pride of Kiva has radar on. I'm going to turn their radar off. Keep the radar on for now. We've got radar off on the Sevastopol, radar off on this ship as well. That's the button. Shift to do it, yeah. Okay. Nothing we can do really now. We just know where the enemy are, and that's probably not the whole enemy fleet. What I actually want the Dreams of Issy to do is stop where it is and just go straight up. Okay. We've lost one of the Elent signals. Yeah, that's a good point. So if I shift-click radar on here, that should put everyone's radar on. Cool. That's it. Okay, we've lost both of our Elent tracks now. Sevastopol is still moving up. I want it to move forward and up. We'll need to deal with a roll from it pretty soon as well. Society Special is in position. The Pride of Kiva is moving into capture Delta. It's a little bit high, but we'll deal with that right now, actually. Let's give it a proper movement order. So I'm actually going to order it along this plane here and then down. And that should get it close enough. This fleet is going to get into place. Although, is that track? No. Alright. We're just waiting to detect the enemy at this point. Sevastopol's moving up. Sadie Special's in position to launch missiles. The idea behind this is I want it to launch torpedoes from behind there. Okay, the Pride of Kiva is getting locked. The Pride of Kiva is getting locked. Let's pull it back. That's not a great move that I just did. What I should have done is shift-clicked a move order around in a circle. But it is getting locked by something, and I don't want it to be engaged. It's probably not going to turn fast enough here. This fleet here, I'm going to order them to flank speed. Just for a couple of seconds. Let's just... Okay, the Pride of Cleva is no longer being locked. It is still being locked. The Sevastopol is also being locked. Interesting. Probably pulled it too far forward. Let's do what I said I should have done before. We're actually going to order a turn on the Sevastopol. Something is being launched at us. It's probably being launched at the Pride of Kiva. Let's get some radar on. Let's get the radar on here. You got your radar on. I'm actually going to turn flank speed off here. And we'll turn radars on here. Cool. Okay, we've got incoming missiles on the Pride of Kiva, is it? Yeah. Pride of Kiva has flares. Shift Z. Do I have flares on this ship? I can't remember. Doesn't look like I've got chaff. It is going to die. Luckily, getting it to turn around looks like most of these missiles are missing it. No, the second barrage is going to hit it. Flank speed. Oof, I can't believe I just dodged that missile attack. Okay, let's get him to pull right back. Let's bring him back to here. Okay, he's still getting locked. Society Special's in range. The Sevastopol is... I've actually ordered it to fire one of those missiles, which I did not want it to do. Let's cancel that fire order. And those missiles just died. Okay, we've got an enemy target. We've got 2 enemy targets. Let's... What do I want to do here? Do I want to just fire at it? Can I lock that? Don't try what I just did, by the way. You'll never be able to dodge missiles reliably. That was pure luck. Oh, let's turn flank speed off on this ship before the engine gets destroyed. Okay, we're getting jammed. Oh, look at that. Let's get the Sevastopol onto transmitting. Let's get the Society Special onto transmitting as well, just in case. We're getting jammed to all hell. Do you actually have a shot? No, you don't, because there's an asteroid in the way, but you are moving into position. Let's just get you to come up. Oh, Dreams of Issy is far too far outside the battle. Where is the Dreams of Issy? Pride of Kiva is taking railgun fire as well. Let's get you over here. Dreams of Issy 4. It's just too much to keep track of. Get you to come down because you've just gone out at the top of the battle space. We don't have any enemy contacts right now. Once we capture C, we're going to start moving towards Bravo. This game is so overwhelming. Okay, they're capturing Bravo right now. Sevastopol, I want to move into position over Bravo soon, but not quite yet. What we could actually probably do here, because we've got a decent idea of where they are, let's order a thunder attack. What I want to do, this is going to be tricky. This is tricky to do, but I want it to come up, and then that should launch a barrage from this ship here, and it should go straight up and around. Oh, the Piotr Ivanovich has been destroyed. I'm not even paying attention to the formation being fired upon. Very bad. Okay, they are under serious attack, and I've just lost a ship without even paying attention. See what I mean about making a huge embarrassment of myself? Let's get them to move into combat range. Let's get the Sevastopol to move out over the top of Bravo. I think all the missiles may have hit the asteroid as well. This is not going very well. Let's bring the Pride of Kiva back into Delta, because I need to capture something. Let's get the Dreams of Issy over and down on A. We'll bring it over to A. And then down on A, just so I don't need to think about it right now. Can't believe I lost that ship. Yeah, I lost a ship without even paying attention. Absolutely destroyed. I broke the formation as well. Okay, we've got Elant tracks on Bravo. Let's see what we can do here. Let's see if we can salvage this, but it's already going so badly. Let's get another missile strike if we can. This is just too much for me to keep track of. There's too many ships. If it was just one of these battle groups, it would be fine. Let's try and launch another thunderstorm. So missiles. Okay, there's railgun fire. See, I wasn't even aware. I think I need to turn my ship captains. Oh, I didn't hold down shift. Is it the Dreams of Issy that's taking fire, or is it the Sevastopol? The Sevastopol is taking fire. It can't see what's firing at it because I'm getting jammed. This is already over. I can already tell this is over. I'm just getting absolutely destroyed. We've got no tracks to fire. We've got incoming missiles in the Dreams of Issy. I can at least launch chaff. But I've got no radar. I can't see what's happening. My chaff isn't launching either. Did I put chaff on this ship? No, chaff is not launching. I do have chaff. That's ceasefire, not chaff. Let's launch countermeasures I want to do. He just took fire. Ah! This is very embarrassing. Okay. Does the Emerald Doubt see anything? At least we're just getting jammed to hell, and I haven't got any burn through. This is a big F. I haven't even got a chance to try the Admiral Doubt out yet. So well, okay, let's stop for a second and just think about this. What can we take away from this fight? One, I'll try a burn through this festival, but it is going down fast. We've got visual on an enemy. We can try and target position. The asteroid's in the way. Yeah, I've actually got a target. It's just too much with this many fleets. It's just too much to keep track of. I can't even use the Sadie Special. What I was trying to say about 5 minutes ago was what you can clearly see is having a dedicated missile ship like the Saidi Special is just too much to keep track of. You need to back up. There's just too much going on. I've basically lost the Sevastopol. I have lost the Sevastopol. Let's see if these 450s do anything. That's all I really care about. Are the 450s going to do something for me here? I want to lose this ship before I can get a fire on it, because the AI is just slotting in so nicely against these asteroids. At least we're getting some fire. It's going to be a complete rout. There's no option to slow down time. There is a pause button, but you can't pause in multiplayer. This is why I call this the most stressful game. The Dreams of Issy is about to explode. I haven't even paid any attention to it. The one thing is they haven't switched targets yet. Are we firing HE here? Because we should be... Yeah, we are firing HE, good. Alright, let's bring you back a little bit. Let's see if we can take out at least one of these ships, right? Do you have line of sight? You do not. So let's bring you over to here, where you will have line of sight on the enemy. Admiral Dowd, I want you to come down and over, and just keep firing at these guys. And I want that Mark Saidi to come right down. All I care about right now is this engagement. If I get this engagement, this one little fight, I'll be happy. We'll kill one ship. Yeah, how I can hardly ever handle 3K. How do these people manage 6K games? They are so impressive. The amount of tension. Look, the Dreams of Issy, where is it? Is on fire up here, just getting wrecked. I can't do anything about it. The Pride of Kiva is capturing Delta, so that's something. The Saidi Special is doing nothing because I can't micro the missiles. So let's just bring it up and over the asteroid, and we'll just direct fire missiles. Back to the Admiral Dowd, the one ship I care about right now. The enemy is evading me so well. Look at the placement of these ships. Look where they're hiding from me. Come on, Admiral Dowd, take down one ship. Give me one ship. That'll be a victory for me. That is one of my ship's reactors exploding, that noise we just heard. Let's bring you down as well. So the idea behind the Admiral Dowd is it should have decent lateral movement and normal movement as well. Can you get it? Can you keep firing for me? Well, the Admiral Dowd is at least punishing this, the moral failing, this Axford. There is also this other Axford here. They are bringing their guns to bear on the Admiral Dowd now that they've destroyed that other ship, though. What can the Saidi Special see right now? Can it see those guys? You know what? I could look. Let's try it. Let's try a Thunder Swarm. So I want to go this. And then... let's see if that does anything. Okay, now we've got a knife fight going on. What's the Marxiety doing? See how much I am having to deal with just this one small engagement. We have missiles on the way, I think. As the Society special fired. One missile launched. Oh, is that what I'm doing wrong? I thought it would launch all of them in one barrage, but it doesn't seem to be doing that. So what I need to do then is right-click, weapons, Thunderswarm. Oh no, I don't have time to micro this right now. Perfect. And then I want to... what's the button to add missiles now to this? Because it's so overwhelming. Shift add target, Alt. 19 missiles away. Alright, let's watch the Admiral Dowd get absolutely ripped to shreds. Pull back. Mark Saidi. Pull back. Wow, this is terrifying. Can we do a burn through? Can we lock? I want to battle short now because we're in desperate times. Fire everything. No. Fire everything at him. What are you doing? Fire at this ship. Why do I not have a track on that ship? Admiral Dowd, right click, fire. There we go. Well, the missiles kind of are making it. Here's the missile barrage from the Mark Saidi, from the Saidi Special. Is it going to hit anything? Are the missiles going to do anything? We're getting shut down right now. The Admiral Dowd, let's give him a roll command. Just to present the other side of his armor to the enemy. Keep changing targets. Hey, look, missiles, missiles! There's some Thunderheads coming in. That kind of worked. Alright, well we know the whole enemy fleet is here, so let's just fire everything at them. Why can't I zoom in on this guy? I am zoomed in on him. Okay, right click, weapons, Thunderswarm. Control. Shift. Control. Whoops. Shift. Shift. Come back in, and... I'm firing everything. Yeah, I really do need to reorganize this fleet. Look, I knew it was going to be a disaster. I just wanted to put something on the screen. So, thank you for watching me completely fail. I haven't even done anything about managing my damage control teams with this ship. It's going to go boom in a second. The Mark Saidi is gamely firing on. We may actually have damaged one of these ships, maybe. But it's all over soon. Let's just watch this missile barrage fire. This is the Saidi Special, aka the Red October, just launching everything. Alright, well, thank you for watching me make a complete idiot of myself. I can play High Fleet, I can't play this. Yeah, focus everywhere is focus nowhere. It's great advice. There's too much micro required for everything here. At least the missiles look pretty. I don't think a single one of those missiles got through. The Mark Saidi is now the only remaining combat-capable ship. Pride Akiva, why don't I get you to capture Delta, just Alpha, because something happens. The Mark Saidi probably just needs to pull back if it can. But it probably can't. Here come more missiles. Do I have more missiles than they have PD? Probably not. There's just so much going on. Yeah, you do only control one ship in High Fleet. You know what? I'm okay at a 3K game, but a 6K game, how these people can do this tournament, I have so much respect for them. Here's a counter missile barrage. The Auras are doing good work. The Mark Saidi is doing a good job. This is actually a good little destroyer. Considering it's up against, what, 3, 4 heavy cruisers, another destroyer. It's just died, though. Here comes the next missile barrage. You can see the fire rate on the Sadie special is pretty cool. I'm just going to let this missile barrage fly, and then I'm going to end the game. They've now moved. Yeah. It's so over. Alright, well, that didn't go very well. The AI had some great maneuvering there as well, with how it tucked the ships in when I got fire. Yeah. Alright, I'm going to end that there because I don't really need to end this out. Did I do any damage? Okay, let's have a look. Well, this ship took 73 damage. This ship took 16,000, the super took 448. I got absolutely dominated. Like, that wasn't even beginning of a fight. The only thing I had there was an opening. The biggest problem was I lost the Mark Saidi. No, I lost the Pyotr Ivanovich before I even know the fight had started. One of the problems was I've turned off the crew barks, and I didn't know they were under attack. Because I found the crew barks were too overwhelming, but actually the crew barks on. That was a 6,000 point game. Like, for people who don't watch this game before, people who haven't seen this game before, you don't normally play 6,000 points per player. You normally play 3,000 points. That's not an excuse, that's just some knowledge. I was so overwhelmed in that fight. I haven't been that overwhelmed in a game probably since the first time I played multiplayer at 3,000 of this. And even then, I'm not very good. It's one of the reasons I haven't uploaded much videos of this is because I'm not particularly great. I'm okay at the shipbuilding, sort of, but all I wanted to do with that combat was really see if I can work a 450 heavy cruiser. Yeah? And I didn't really get a chance to try it out. I mean, I did some shots, then it died so quickly. And I think that's something that I struggle with this game, is that ships die really fast when they actually get into combat. You don't get long slug matches. It's not like Homeworld where you maybe get like a destroyer up against a destroyer. They fire at each other for a while and you can repair them. Really, once they engage, it goes fast. I'm maybe going to take this design away from me, which is another design I've copied from a player. This is cool. The beam destroyer, the Mark 64, I don't know what it adds, but it's kind of cute to have on there. The Saidi special, definitely need to investigate more. It's a bit ridiculous. Kind of feels a bit like a grief, to be completely honest with you. But the big thing to take away with there was I was just so overwhelmed. I think I need to scale back down to 3K and get more confident in 3K before I try this again. What we could do, maybe I could try and redeem myself. We could drop this down to 3K. Let's see what we can do. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. That's 3315. 3024. If I... Where could I get 24 points from? We're going to cheat and go at 3024, just because I don't want to mess around with it. We'll call this 3K Brawl, even though it isn't a 3K fleet. And let's watch me lose at a much smaller point scale. Alright, what are we going to come up against here? Well, it was Oak that kicked our ass there. I don't think we can take Oak on, because that's 2 heavy cruiser brawlers. Yeah, it's your destroyer. Yeah, it's your destroyer design. It's like... I'm in love with your destroyer design. I didn't realize that was you ready for. It's... I want to try it out, because it was not only your destroyer design... It's a copy of your task force, but instead of the 3 destroyer plus corvette, I was trying a heavy cruiser plus 2 destroyer. Okay, what do I want to play against here? And this is I'll probably have the stream after this fight. Willow's an interesting one. I lose to Willow. I've lost to Ash. Ash is scary because these are beam cannons plus 2 Mark 64s on 3 destroyers. It's so in your face. think I'm going to go up against Willow. Willow's a nice multi-fleet. We've got missiles, so we can test out our PD. We've got Destroyer for beam damage, and there's a Railgun Heavy Cruiser for like the big boss. And we're going to go up against that, and I'm going to do it on pillars. Sorry, the cliff. And I'll probably lose this game, but it hopefully shouldn't end as quickly. I'm going to set a 45-minute time limit just so that this doesn't last forever. We do have a points advantage. I don't think it's going to matter. There's a good chance we will lose. I'm going to go with Willow. But thanks, Crash Test. Thanks for the vote of confidence. I have been playing this game since it hit early access. I'm just not very good at it. And I do like big fleet action games. Alright. So we're going to bring in Admiral Dowd and co. The plan here is this is a close range fleet. So what we want to do is we want to hug the pillar. We'll bring them in on point A. The enemy usually starts off around about point B, so we might get to engagement really quickly, but they can capture point A for me. What we'll do is we'll get the Dreams of Issy over by point D, and then I'll bring it up over the level where I can use its Elan to try and pick up the enemy. And let's do it. So yeah, ready for it's your destroyer design with a Mark 64 40-50mm brawler heavy cruiser in the middle to try and take the heat, but it's not working. And thank you, Tayfun. There will be another High Fleet video out later this week. I'm trying to do them at least once a week at the moment. All right, so we're capping point A as soon as we arrive, which is great. Let's just set this fleet to loose and tell them to turn around. And let's get the Dreams of Issy on its way to point D as quickly as possible. And we're going to leave radar on because this is such a short range map that we're going to run into the enemy really quickly. And yeah, I'll be happy to play against you guys, but you will just smash me. As soon as we take point A, what we're going to do is we're going to coast around the outside of the asteroid to try and take point B. And that's probably going to be our main engagement space. The enemy will be taking point E pretty soon, I think. Dreams of Issy is going to head down to C, then see what it can pick up with its Elan. I also need to remember that this ship has thunderheads. Yeah, ECB. We just have to wait out the early part of the game. These guys can actually start moving. Have I got the primary ship ready? So let's just do a little bit of path micro. So we'll bring them in here. Bring them back a little bit. I don't want to get too close because it is a large fleet. It's a little bit too close for me. That should be them inside, yeah, and then I'll bring them up. You've got lots of E-War. I don't have a lot of E-War on this. So the Mark Sayedi has a blanket as a jammer, and the Pyotr Ivanovich has a locking radar. And the Admiral Dowd has a parallax radar. All right, well, we're winning at this point. Yeah, the jammers are what I need. I need to get better at E-War in this game. I'm okay, like, my head is totally in the Elan is cool space because of High Fleet. But what it's not into is what to do about enemy jamming and how to dodge jamming myself. So this fleet is built to go at flank speed. I'm not going to do it right now. Heavy frigate frigates. Yeah, frigates are something I want to experiment with more as well. Okay, they've captured E. So everyone's saying they're going to head to C next. If you've got something you want to point out to me, Tayfun, I have a email address on my channel if you want to have a chat. It's frosfer.aus@gmail.com. It's in the contact me part of my channel, probably the best place to go to. And I'm always keen to check out RTS games because I love them. Let's be really bold, and I'm going to send the Dreams of Issy down to Charlie. It's probably going to die. Do I want to do that? No. We don't need to be greedy. We're about to take Bravo. Let's instead bring the Dreams of Issy high up over the plane of the battlefield. Not going too far forward, so that it can start elanting for me. And let's take the radar off on it, just so it's a little bit harder to pick up. And let's see what we pick up when we come around to Bravo. So at the moment, my fleet is just hugging the inside of the pillar. The enemy are somewhere on the other side of the pillar, and we are 1 point up on them. Once the Dreams of Issy gets up here, I'm going to bring it over along the top, where the Pinard Elant module here will be able to scan down on the battlefield, hopefully pick up some radar signals for me. Let me pinpoint the enemy. Yeah, I'm not really one of those people who likes to just smash players at video games. I want to have fun games. It's why, like, whenever I try and play games like Netrunner or Magic the Gathering, I get bored because I don't want to play against, like, meta net decks all the time. Yeah, com jamming, that's something else I need to play with. I was really so excited ready for Finalysis that I thought you had a signature jammer on your ship rather than a comms jammer. I was so excited to see it, but it's still a comms jammer was really cool as well. Okay, no sign of the enemy yet. They aren't capping anything. They've only capped Echo. Yeah. That's exactly accurate like Proximo. That's exactly what Finalysis in the chat. That's what they used in their last 6K game in the tournament to great effect. It worked so well, like shockingly well. It just took apart everything that ran into. It basically got into fights with 2 really fast light cruisers, and those light cruisers died as soon as the engagement started. The Solomon is just really expensive. It's really expensive. And I'm trying to find other uses. Like, I sat on light cruisers for so long, trying to use light cruisers. Now I'm onto heavy cruisers. Yeah, as Finalysis says, that's his fleet. Their fleet. Alright. Taking a long time to get to Bravo. No sign of the enemy yet, which is a bit boring. They're probably coming around, I assume, to either Charlie or Bravo. They haven't started capping Charlie yet, which is interesting because I think there's 2 frigates in that fleet. Oh, okay, we've got an Elent signal. Is the Pyotr Ivanovich crashing? Yeah, the Pyotr Ivanovich has crashed. So let's just fix that. Luckily, it's not taking any damage. I'll get it to catch up with the fleet. And I'll get it to flank speed. Okay, what do we have here? We had some Elent detected there. Okay, so the enemy are heading down to Charlie. That's what this tells me. So what I don't want to do is I want him to come over the top to tell me what he can see. It looks like they're heading down to Charlie. They're so good. The speed on those CLs, those light cruisers, was insane. Just make sure the Pyotr Ivanovich doesn't catch fire, as in damage its engines. As soon as I see a little bit of yellow on these engines, I want to turn off flank speed. We're capping Bravo now, and what we're going to do is just head out this way and see if we can engage the enemy. But it looks like they're heading down to Charlie, which gives us a huge advantage. Alright, let's turn flank speed off. And what I'm going to do is get him to rejoin the formation. And I'll just get him to sit sort of here. And then we'll get the Admiral Dowd to move forward. You can see there's a lot of like submarine style warfare in this game where you're trying to scout out your enemy. So these purple lines, for those who don't know, means there's something along this line that is giving out radar signals. Beam battleships are terrifying if they get in range. The biggest problem with the Solomon and with the heavy cruiser, with the Axford, for me, is the speed. And yeah, CLs are very vulnerable. They just seem to take critical damage really quickly, which is not what you want to see. Alright. No, this isn't a very exciting game so far, but that's kind of how these games go. There's a lot of, especially like a 3K 1v1, which is what I try to play a lot of because I get overwhelmed when there's a big game going on. Most people play 4v4 3K, so that's what, an 18, 6, 12K game, 24K on each side. I just can't track, like, it's just so much to keep track of. If I wanted to be cheeky, I could launch some Thunderheads along this line, and they should hit something, just to prove it. Why don't we do that? Let's launch one Thunderhead, just to see if I'm, like, talking rubbish. So if I launch the Thunderhead, well, that's not right. What's going on here? Oh, that's because I'm... can I please zoom in on this show? Hang on. If I was to launch a Thunderhead in this direction... we should run into something. And if not, it's just cool because something is happening. So we've lost the Elent signal. Let's actually get him to turn around and just come back this way because I want to see what's going on there. The big problem, Mark, I think, is, well, is the mine, but it just doesn't do a lot. Of course, I don't know why I launched this missile because I'm not going to see if it hits anything. It's just chilling out, going down here. No sign of any enemy targets. What we're going to do with the Admiral Dowd is I think I'm going to get them to capture Echo. They're capturing Charlie right now, which is what we thought was going to happen. They're just not really wanting to engage us. Let's go ahead to flank speed and just get into the fight. They are on Charlie right now. I could probably launch all my Thunderheads at Charlie and do something, but I don't want to do that just yet. Let's just bring you out over here. Okay, go to Elent again. So yeah, right on point Charlie, which is exactly where the enemy is right now. If I was playing a different fleet, I just launch all my missiles at Charlie. But I'm not playing that fleet, because I don't want to play that fleet. I don't want to play mass missiles. Hopefully we're going to get into combat soon. Let's just check our engine damage. Nobody's taking damage yet, because I've only ordered the Admiral down to flank speed, because I didn't press shift. Let's get everyone else on flank speed. So the enemy's probably honestly going to head for Delta now. We're just playing cat and mouse around the outside of this asteroid, unfortunately. Down a little bit. Oops, I just ordered a collision. Oh. Did we pick something up there? No, we lost the Elent. It's funny, the enemy was so aggressive last time, and now it doesn't feel like they're being aggressive at all. I don't want to damage our engines here. We should be able to see them soon. Got another Elent signal. Alright, we should be coming around the top of the asteroid in a second. Every time we pick up another Elent track, we get that donk noise. Looks like they're still hanging out around Charlie. Oh, the Dreams of Issy has been locked. This is why you need to turn on your, just in case I'm about to lose the Dreams of Issy, let's launch its missiles. Oh, it's taking railgun fire. Alright, let's launch missiles. Ah, I pressed the wrong button. Oh well, they're all launched. See, as soon as I take fire, I just lose it. And my other fleet here is currently burning itself to death, coming around the outside of the asteroid. They launched missiles, and I didn't even realize. And somehow I managed to dodge them again. Let's go full speed, flank speed, and evasive maneuvers. See if those missiles actually find anything. They probably won't. The Admiral Dowd is just taking forever to get into position. They know they're going to be pushing up probably towards the Dreams of Issy now. I'm only firing these missiles because I need to fire something, but I activated the radar too soon, so they're spreading out quite wild. Okay, we've got visual on the enemy. Let's just come around. Come up behind them if I can. And I'm just going to go for flank speed. Even though it means I'm going to burn out my engines, I want to get into this engagement. Let's get the Dreams of Issy out of here. It's somehow still alive. It does not have any DC, so it can't repair any damage it's taken. That fire is going to kill it eventually. At least it managed to fire off its armament before that happened. I guess this is a problem with Pillar, right? You get stuck on one side. Ah, didn't know I could right-click. See, there's so many tips in this game I wasn't aware of. And I'm trying to produce videos to tell people how to play the game. Really, what I'm trying to do is give people ideas. Alright, how are we doing for engine damage? We've got no damage here. We're starting to get damage here and here, so I'm going to take off flank speed. But we should be coming up on the enemy really soon. Just as soon as we get around this part of the battlefield. Poor Dreams of Issy. I might actually get the Dreams of Issy to come back and give me vision. Well, he's getting jammed. I didn't know about that when I turned it off. Actually, why don't I get the Dreams of Issy to capture this point? That's something he can do. Let's turn off flank speed. Did I leave a missile on it? I did, yeah. I'll keep that missile. That's my lucky missile. I'm going to hang on to that. Alright, boys. Oh, Dreams of Issy's going to explode. We've got reactor damage. And there's no team there to fix the reactor. Yeah, at least the live stream did something, right? Thank you so much for hanging around. I really appreciate it. You have no idea how much it means to me to start a live stream and have 20-odd people just tune in to watch me play spaceships. That's really cool. Thank you so much. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave the live stream on the channel. I might get rid of this VOD because it's 2 hours of me just rambling and making a complete idiot of myself. Alright, rip the Dreams of Issy. Can we get an F in chat for the Dreams of Issy because it's about to go kaboom. It's dead in the water and it's just getting overpenned by railgun fire. And they're launching a million missiles at it as well. I honestly, my engagements never last. Oh, hang on, we've got combat. Okay, let's engage this ship here. Okay, there's an opening barrage for you. Let's see if we can get a lock on this. We go to lock. So, finally we get the 450s into combat. Let's see how they do. But railgun fire. So which ship is firing the railguns? I think it's the conclusion. Yeah, that's an Axford. Okay. Switch targets to this. This is our primary target right now. And then what I want to do, this is my plan, is I want... Well, they're actually engaging the Admiral Dowd now, which is perfect. Kind of want to keep that side view, actually. I probably don't want to do that turn, but I do want to keep them in range. Okay, we're getting jammed. Let's do a burn. Okay, and let's lock this target. Let's get you to jam them for me. And let's get you, if you can, to give me a look. Well, I'll leave the VOD available then. The escort DDs are beams and a Mark 64 because I'm copying Finalisis's build. So I've got my jammer on. They're jamming me. We're jamming them. But okay, we've been unjammed. Let's do that again. Right click. So if I shift right click, I can order my entire fleet to attack. And I'm gonna order. Oh, we just got jammed again. So let's do a burn through. So he gets very messy very quickly. Let's make sure we're jamming them. And let's start burning towards them. There's just a lot going on. Yeah, so more jammers. I can see the value because I can cycle the jammers. In fact, let's turn Battle Shot on for the fleet. Let's get stuff going. Let's get... can I get another jam on the go? From the Mark Saidi. Nice work beaming, guys. Okay, you guys I want to break from the formation because I don't want you getting too much closer. And the Admiral Dowd I want to move in. The Admiral Dowd is taking damage. I haven't really noticed. What are we losing? Okay, everything's being repaired. We've lost a berthing and a defender. I'm not too worried about that. Damage control is working on the Dowd. We've got a lot of damage. We've got 2 rapid, 2 large. So I have reactivations, but I'm just happy with what they're doing. They're staying on top of it. The idea is for the ship to stay in the fight for a long time. We're now taking beam damage, so let's try and pull back a little bit so we're not taking repair beam. Okay, incoming missiles. Let's start launching chaff. Shift Z, Shift Z, Shift Z, Shift Z, Shift Z. Keep launching chaff. Looks like the Dowd is the primary target here. The Auroras are helping. We don't have good coverage by the looks of it. Our defenders aren't firing. We don't have range on the defenders, actually. Okay, we fired way too much chaff, but that's fine. Haven't got good intel, so I don't know if this ship is getting destroyed or not. I'm tempted to switch my beams to actually fire at this destroyer here. But I'm going to do that. And let's make sure we're jamming. Let's keep the jammers up. Whoops. Let's get you to fire at this beam destroyer as well, because that's a serious amount of damage that we need to be aware of. The Admiral Dowd seems to be dead in the water. Why is that? Engines seem to be good. We've got damage. We've lost the rapid DC lock. We've lost a rebound. Oh, we lost all our thrusters at the front of the ship. That's what the problem is, because it's taking heavy damage there. I don't really want to... So, okay, chat. What is the... Do I want to reactivate those thrusters? No, because he is moving. This guy's trying to pull back. This is a Rains frigate. Rains frigate, and we've got a keystone. So we want to kill that keystone. That's the beam keystone. We'll keep firing at the Axford with our 450s, which are all still engaged. In fact, what we're going to do is we're going to give a roll command to the ship so that the other side of the ship, the other side of the armor is presented to the enemy. Yeah, that's right. I can do that. And I know that, and it is live. Pyotr Romanovich is doing some weird things. Let's bring him over here. Let's bring this guy over here. But let's bring you forward a little bit. You can see he's taken damage to the front here, but I have damage control teams on these ships too. They've both taken damage to their beam weapons. Okay. The Admiral Dowd is starting to take some serious hits. Oh, I did the wrong type of roll. I want him to do this. I want him to roll over. And let's bring him up. Let's just change my angle so I'm not doing anything stupid. Is that missiles incoming? Yeah. Nope. Just bring up the targets. So the plan here is to roll the Dowd over. And if I roll the Dowd over, it should be... yeah. I think I do want to keep them for our weapons. Problem is I don't have great intel right now. Okay. What's this ship looking like? Is it dead in the water? The thrusters are not firing. We do have lights on in the bridge, but it is not returning fire. So I think for now I'm going to switch targets to one of the keystones. To the keystone. And let's bring these guys forward as well. They've obviously fallen out of range, or their guns are no longer active. Looks like the guns are just damaged, not destroyed. Alright. Engagement's restarted. Okay, the Axford is back online, so I'm switching back to him with the Dowd. Let's bring the Dowd over in this direction so we got the broadsides firing. Yeah, engine's just reactivated. We're hitting it in the thrusters though. Oh, that beam just missed. That's a long burn beam with a long burn miss. That's a better hit. Although it cut out really quickly. Oh, we've got incoming missiles. This could be bad. That's a very close range barrage. It was launching a lot of chaff. There was a mace mixed in there. No, there wasn't. Okay, we're good, we're good. The Dowd, we lost any main cannons yet? Mark 66, this one's damaged. Where's the 68? Yeah, we're okay. Well, that's what I'm trying to try out, Varyag, is I want to see if these guns are worth taking. At the moment, this is what I always find when I'm engaging an Axford with 450s, is it just seems to last forever. Like, I've been firing at it pretty much non-stop. Okay, we're starting to take some serious damage on the Dowd now. Nothing serious I want to replace yet, though. I don't want to use any of my... I've got 4 reactivations. Let's get these guys moving forward. I want to make sure they stay in range. Looks like the Axford has gone offline again. It also looks like the Keystone has also gone offline. I'm going to keep firing at the same targets for now, but it's looking good. That's an escape pod. Okay, the Keystone is offline. Let's switch so that everyone is firing at the ship. Yeah, you can see so one of the things I've taken on the ship, Dunkringle, is there's 2 different types of DC team. I've got a large DC team, and I've got a rapid DC team. And the rapid DC teams actually move faster throughout the ship. And that was a tip from chat. And I wish I could remember, I'm really sorry, but someone suggested using them. They actually took a comment from one of JD's videos, where the person was saying having rapid DC teams is much better in a brawling ship because they can get to the damage quickly and get it back up and running rather than waiting for reactivations. It looks like these ships might be offline. Let's just try and take out these keystones as quickly as we can, and we'll get these guys to shoot here. Oh, that's the wrong ship. We'll get you to fire here then. How do we feel about the Mark 64 cannon on these destroyers as a backup gun to give it a bit more range over the beam? Is your beam offline? Your beam looks like it's off. Your beam is on fire. Where's the damage control team? There should be a damage control team on this ship. The other ship has a damage control team. Doesn't it? I took damage control. Did I not take damage control teams on these ships? I thought I did. Well, that's a rapid DC locker. Oh, the teams are dead. The damage control teams died. But this is pretty much over. I can set it. How do I set it as killed again? I know that I've done it before. Signal. That's it. Kill. And I think this is kill as well. Yeah, I'm really liking the Mark 64 as a backup weapon. Well, it's your design. I've copied it. I think this is a victory, guys. Even though they've actually cut more points off me. Let's just make sure that doesn't come back to bite us. Oh, we've got missiles incoming. That was close range. Launching that chaff. Nothing got through. It's holding up pretty well to the damage from the Emerald Out, to be honest. Let's clear the roll command. Yeah, that's a good point. I should pull back. Get some range on these guys. Let's actually lock this target. And then we'll also lock this target. So these guys have lost their particle beams because it looks like the damage control crews were killed while trying to repair the cannons. Which is pretty funny. But I think I've got this. So it's not a complete embarrassment for tonight. I beat the AI in an unfair fight because it had more points than it did. Oh, these guys are firing AP. Let's change that to HE. Should have done that a while ago as well. They're firing at range. They need to be using AP rounds. The Dowd has just basically been firing HE though. Oh, is that a escape pod? That is an escape pod. Okay, this is killed. And then we can move on to firing at this target here. And that will be us about to win the game. I'm not going to restore the... well, I might as well restore the thrusters. Yeah. Okay, let's... I just restored damage control because I clicked on the wrong button. Let's get this thruster, this thruster, this thruster. Need a shift click. Here comes the damage control teams. Get 4 of the thrusters back online. And 1 ship left. You firing? You look like you're still firing AP. You are still firing AP. Please fire HE. Are you firing anything? Okay, you're not firing HE. It's messy. Like, I'm still showing that I've got a lot to learn about the game, even though I'm casting it. I think I can pick up on the strategy and the tactics a lot more than actually being able to pull them off in combat, if that makes sense. I'm going to send... there's no point. We've got this. This ship should be killed any second now. There you go. There's escape pods. We lost the Dreams of Issy, but our fleet is still intact, mostly. Do you have any track correlators or anything to help with accuracy on your Destroy DDs Finalysis ready for if you're still in the chat? I'm curious. That's killed. So that should be GG. Did the ship actually launch escape pods? I'm not sure it did. Just in case, I'm gonna bombard it. Yeah, I killed her. Yeah, yay. It's not much of an achievement. At least I can... Ah, there you go, battle over. Okay. Curious to see how much damage the Admiral Dow did. Admiral did 17,000 damage and took 5,000. It only repaired 780, which isn't actually that much. The Mark 80 did 14,280. So I think the biggest disappointment there was that it was a good thing and a bad thing. On both the DDs, both the destroyers, we lost the beam weapons, but the crew, the damage control team, were able to bring them online, like keep them working until they died repairing the guns. I don't think there's any way I can protect the crew from that. There's no way, even having a reinforced berth, I don't think we'll protect them from dying. And yeah, the Axford was not dead. I had to shoot it a bit to kill it. The Axford did 4,632 damage, which I think is very, like the enemy Axford, which is not great compared to the 17,000 that the Admiral Dowd was able to do. Ah, the battle short. Of course, I turned battle short on. Thank you, Accurate Light Proximal. It was my fault that the guns died because I turned on battle short. See, too many things to keep track on. It's too easy to make mistakes here. But that was a better showing. I think what I'd maybe rather do is run the DDs, get rid of the heavy cruiser, and pick up some more support ships. Maybe do a Ready for Style 3 Mark 80. Yeah, okay. Thank you. It was you that brought it into the chat as well, wasn't it, Reno? So thank you for bringing that over. It was actually a really good bit of advice from Henrik, and I really appreciate you pointing out to me. Yeah. So it wasn't that great, because I lost track of the fact that I had Battle Short turned on. Oh well, at least we won, and I can end the stream without being a complete idiot. I do have to go, unfortunately, because it is 20 to 1 in the morning, and I have work in the morning. But I really appreciate everybody tuning in, and for not laughing too much when I got absolutely dominated in that 6K game. But I have to leave it there. Also, I just noticed in the background video, there is a keystone with a spinal mounted missile launcher. Yeah, I should have turned it off. I did it when we engaged at the start there. But thank you all for tuning in, and I hope you have a great day, evening, morning. I want to do more streams. I'm probably going to edit this VOD a little bit. But yeah, I appreciate that you hung around. It really means a lot to me. Thank you so much. And there'll be some more High Fleet out later this week. And I will finish filming the Phantom Brigade episode I cut short to jump on this stream, and I'll hopefully catch the game tomorrow night.